Hi guys, and welcome to Quinton's Guitar Corner, and in today's episode I'm going to be demoing the Neural DSP Omega Granophyre plugin. This plugin has come into the market within the last year or so and offers quite a unique perspective on how metal guitar in particular can be voiced. Omega primarily started with making cabs, from what I understand, and I used to see certain artists talk about their speaker enclosures and how good they were. And then, from what I understand, the amps themselves were actually, used by Slipknot, Mick Thompson in particular, who used what's now called the Obsidian head. Having seen Slipknot live this year at the O2, I was blown away by the guitar sound that I heard come from Mick's guitar, essentially through those giant speakers. And there have been several rig rundown videos documenting his rig in the last 6 or 7 months or so. He has quite a different sort of take in terms of how his tone is basically compiled, and a large portion of that comes from the Omega heads themselves. Omega partnered with Neural DSP in terms of building, this plugin, which I have to say sounds absolutely fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to demo a track that I basically wrote specifically for this using my Solar Guitars A1.8C, going straight into my Focusrite, into the plugin through my DAW, and then I'm going to take you through some basic tones and how to use the plugin. So as I was saying, I'm going to cycle through some of the presets as they are right now. So we've got the default, which is just this kind of sound. Lots of low end, lots of headroom. It just roars already. So it's got that power behind it, which is something I really like. It's just really it's not overbearing though. That's what I love about it. And if I wanted to, I could play lead on it too. I could totally do it. I could get by with that setting, like live, and I would be totally happy with a front of house engineer, a good one, messing around with that as a sort of a basic tone. So let's see what happens if I mess around with the voice switch. And then let's mess around with the high and low. So it's a bit more brittle sounding with the low, which is, as I was saying, something that I would use for like multi-tracking, and that would make sense for me. So, but then the high is just more like if I'm playing live and I'm the sole guitarist in the band, I would definitely be using that, which is. Bearing in mind the overdrive is not engaged as of yet, then let's go from the 6L6 to the KT66. those who know me pretty well know that I've modelled a lot of my playing style on how Mick Thompson plays live. So I'm naturally going to gravitate to this preset first. I'm not going to go through every single preset because we would be here all year. And the other thing to bear in mind is that I am playing an 8-string guitar. So there is a lot more happening in terms of the low end, high end, and so I might not just take, you know, the tone as it is as I go into it and going, yeah, this is it. I might tweak accordingly. So I'm going to start. And one thing I want to point out is the interplay between the level and the master, right? When you get them both sitting in a sweet spot, sounds so good. So let's see how this goes. Well, I can feel that low end. Dope. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to dial back the bass a bit. Dial back the mid to the treble out. Bring back on the depth. The depth is like, it's like sort of an extra level of low end, I think. At least that's my interpretation of it. And when I pull it back, the sound becomes noticeably more present, so to speak. So I've got the detail, which is like, I guess, like the sort of transient part of it, you know, and really focused at just before 3 o'clock, basically. And let's just see what happens when I do that. I like that. So what are they using on the mic for this? Or what are they using on the cab for this? Let's see. They've got an M160 and a 421 as well. I know that live he uses a 4050 and the M160 as well. So, you know, it's not exactly like what his live rig is, and that's the geek in me coming out a bit. But it's comparable. Interestingly, they've got this quite, you know, this mic quite centered as well, and then this one a little bit offset but centered too. Well, actually, no, both of them are pretty kind of. Interestingly, they've got both mics more focused towards the center of the speaker, which I guess is where you get, like, you know, your bite and your presence and stuff out of your cab. I'm not going to mess with those at this point. Now, one thing I should mention, even though, is that I've not engaged the plumes at all. I'm going to do that now. So this is it without. Do you hear that lift? Whoa. Yeah, I've watched Disaster Pieces way, way, way too much. That's just obscene, you know. So what would I do to this slightly differently? I'd probably take the gain down a little bit on that. Scale back on the treble, scale back on the mid a bit. Let's mess with the bass. Let's get the depth down. Now I'm going to crank up the level on this. What I love about this is that you change something fractionally and you're never, unless you like screenshot the tone, it's that finicky, and I love it. I love the fact it does that. I mean, that almost sounds like it's gonna break. Like you'd break glass with that. So let's see what I would do with the actual plumes itself. I'd probably crank up the level. Yeah, the gain's all the way down. Maybe pull back on the tone a bit. Love it. Okay, let's cycle through some other presets. So let's go through some factory ones. Let's go through some Neural DSP ones. Okay. The British Raw. Wow, that looks pretty drastic. That's amazing. I like that. I like it a lot actually. For kind of some sort of like overdriven type sound. Give me mids power boost. Whoa, okay. That's like something like a doom band. That's it. It's kind of like what I would think would be the perfect amp for like a doom band, you know, in that sense. And that's what it's something that's sort of indescribable, I think. And when you're using it at home, you're just like, oh my god, I really feel this, like this power. One thing I wanted to kind of talk about was how I mean, we have a pretty set sound in Red Method in terms of what we use and how we use it. Where I found this to be more comfortable for me in Red Method and how we use, you know, how we write our songs and all that kind of stuff is definitely in the lead register. So I know that when it comes to tracking demos for the new Red Method stuff over the next few months, I know I'll be using Omega stuff definitely for the lead, just to try and, you know, get that creamy sound that I'm looking for. And I've been experimenting more and more with it, and it feels good in that sense. So let's try the Tights EL34 actually. Mega Amp Works one. Let's go with the Thrasher. I quite like it. Quite a good level of break up there. EL34s are quite bright. Quite like. If I wanted to tighten that up slightly, I'll bring the gain down on the amp. So now I'm going to go to the default setting and just basically see how quickly I can go in and dial a tone. So here goes. Bring the gain back on that. Okay, so now I'm going to dial in a tone that I'm pretty happy with so far. Let's see if I can do any more to it. I just hit the default setting and basically scaled back on the bass, the mid, the treble a little bit. I engaged the plumes and smashed the level up to around the 2 o'clock mark, pulled back the tone, turned off the gain pretty much. I've got this on the voice one. Now let's see what's going on with the cab. So I've not engaged the Ribbon 121, but there's an SM57, which I think comes under the MS presets. Let's try the really piqued my interest in terms of how mics work, and in a future video you're gonna see something pretty crazy. Now, we come on to the EQ. Like I was saying, this thing is quite responsive, quite sensitive to what what you'd kind of expect. There's a big drastic shift when you take certain frequencies out, and I like having that flexibility to either boost or cut back depending on what's going on with my drums and my bass and vocals and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, your tone does get affected in that sense, but what can you do? The highs. So let's default them all back to 0. I want that kind of tighter lower mid to come up a little bit. Why not? Pull down at 1K. Yeah, have these pretty much the same. Tail off on the air, tail on the super high, and then the mid, high mids. Okay, so let's just turn that off. And out of interest, let's just see how that goes with the EL. Let's try that. So now I'm going to go for something a bit more lead based. So where is my trusty delay? And I'm going to slap on. And you'll see what I mean in terms of, it's actually really nice to be able to have a lead sound that, you know, feels quite full, so to speak. So I'm going to add some more mids to this, get a bit more of the gain on there, add a bit more detail. If you guys like what you see here, feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me on Instagram, on Facebook under Quinton's Guitar Corner, and Twitter now as well. You know, feel free to, you know, drop a line in the comments and, you know, start discussions about what you think about certain things, whether you think it's good or bad. You know, I'm easy. It's all good. I hope everyone is safe and well, and wish you all a very good week, whatever it is that you're doing. Peace.